Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're fine and still alive for my 10 minutes of bad English that I will try to bring some questions. Thanks for the invitation, and it's a great honor and pleasure to be with you. I'm from ATTAC France, which is a global justice organization, so coming from the anti-globalization movement, and we are working with social movements and setting up mobilizations, and we are publishing some books, and this one, just for the COP21, and we just released a global call to freeze fossil fuels and to stop climate crimes. And this is a global call you can sign if you want in the preparation of the COP21. And so on my way to Brighton yesterday, I was thinking, oh wait, what can I tell to all of you who know much more than me on most of the issues raised in this conference? I'm just an activist, and I should be an economist, so two good reasons to be criticized as too simplistic, narrow-minded people. And so I won't deliver a speech with the objective of pretending giving some answers or key ideas. I will just bring some questions, and maybe to be a little provocative. And so let's do it. I went through the program yesterday, and it was, for me, coming from a global justice organization which was working a lot and still working a lot on trade issues, on investment issues, on these all financial and trade international issues. It was a big surprise to see that there were 3 days of conferences, panels, workshops, posters on resource politics, sustainability, transformation and transition processes, and I didn't see any presentation or any questions around trade and investment regimes. And so first question is, how can we raise this question in such discussions? Because I think it's a really fundamental issue, and if we want to unpack assumptions, question simplistic prescriptions, and debate alternatives about the politics of resources and pathway to sustainability, which is a quote for the presentation of the conference. I think it's a very important purpose to link these questions to the trade investment regime, to the financial system, and to what's going on now in the international negotiations, at the same time in the climate change, but also in the WTO, also with the TTIP, the TPP, and the new trade agreements that have been negotiating all over the world. And so when you look through the question of trade, resources, and sustainability, you have lots of assumptions and simplistic prescriptions we should discuss, we should unpack. And the first one is all the international institutions, the WTO, UNEP, OECD, World Bank, the IMF, are telling us and implementing policies based on what they call the mutual support theory, saying that you need more trade and investments, international investments, to face the environmental crisis, to face climate change. And so that means what is at the root cause of climate change, what is the root causes of the environmental crisis we are living now, should be the solution of this crisis. And in case of climate change, this theory, this approach leads up to some important examples. For example, the UNFCCC is just strictly forbidden any measure that could create a distortion to trade. That means to face climate change inside of the UNFCCC, it's strictly forbidden to take any measure that could be in interaction with the trade agreements, that could distort the trade agreements. So that means all what civil society is saying about localization of consumption, localization of production, is just strictly forbidden by the UNFCCC principles. Other example, on this principle of mutual support theory, there was a program of development of renewable energy in Ontario, Canada, and this program has just been shut down by the WTO and the organism by the WTO at the demand of Europe and Japan. And on this principle, at the moment when TPP and several other trade agreements are under discussions, that means that states, local authorities, that means that people will lose more and more capacity to taking back the control of their own resources. Quebec and Canada are being sued by Lone Pine Resources, which is a Canadian transnational company, under NAFTA Chapter 11 for the moratorium against fracking in Quebec. That means you have a local authority like the Quebec government just deciding to have a moratorium on fracking just to keep the gas under the soil, and it's strictly forbidden by the trade and investment regime. So what does it mean for us when we are speaking about resources and EU policies in order to challenge the crisis we are facing now? And so here are the questions for you, for us. How can we imagine new international resources policies if the international trade and investment regime undermines the capacity of the states, of the local authority, of people to reclaim the power to taking back from TNC the control of their resources? I will finish. How can we speak about justice in the field of resources policies when the trade and investment regime set up a huge injustice system between powerful states and others, between global north and south, but also between TNCs and people and citizens, but also between rich people from all over the planet, not only from the north, and the poor people. Third question, at the age of Anthropocene, I saw the term in the presentation of the conference. I would prefer to speak about Capitalocene or Neoliberalocene. But so at the age of Capitalocene and 3 months before COP21, should be decided to leave 2/3 of fossil fuel under the soil if governments and head of states were really serious regarding climate change. How we can imagine to really face climate change under this kind of trade and investment regime? And the final question to all of you, to the academic field, to socials, and to all of us, to civil society too. Will we stand aside these discussions and leave to the economists of the World Bank, the IMF, and the other financial institutions and national institutions that define our future and decide what should be done regarding this issue? Will be able to set up new alliances between civil society and between academic people and jump into this huge battle to dismantle the corporate power, to dismantle the international trade and investment regime. We have to dismantle if you want to be serious regarding natural resources issues. Thank you.